stream this game, you have to turn the music off.
Thankfully, mine's just changed to... Oh, no, here it goes. Yep, incoming copyright strike. Anyway, hello and welcome to RPR GP2 Round 3. We are in Spain tonight. One announcement to make before we get going is a slight change to the format due to a new bug that's been introduced with the latest update from Codemasters. We will not be running the immersive formation lap. We will be running broadcast formation lap. This is to ensure every driver has warm tyres at the start. If you run the immersive formation lap or no formation lap, everyone starts with stone cold tyres, and it will make the first corner more of a nightmare than it already is. Whilst the drivers are loading up and getting ready to start Q1, I will run you through the current standings. Johnny Stokes is in first place with 50 points. Lister is in second on 38. His teammate Lewis is in third on 31. Frenzy is in fourth on 27, followed by DXT Lulu, surprisingly, in fifth on 23 points. ELZ Deki is in sixth on 8 points. Wumax in seventh on 7. Scorito, Zodak, and DXT Vader are tied in 8th on 6 points. Island Boy, or as his PSN is now, Carl Gill, is in 11th on 3 points. Hepburn's in 12th on 2 points. Flea is in 13th on 1 point. And then you have DXT Matty, Night Sniper, Rocketman, Cons, DXT CK Fraud, or Mrs. Carl as we call her, Pint Size, and Hobo, all on 0 points. In the constructors, Aston Martin are currently leading with 73 points, followed closely by Red Bull Racing on 69 points. Mercedes are in third place on 32 points, McLaren in fourth on 20, Ferrari in fifth on 14, Alpine in sixth on 10, AlphaTauri and Haas are tied in seventh on 8th. I'm getting told off now by my co-commentator, who I've forgotten to introduce, but I am joined again, well, for the second week by DXC James Owl. He was here for the first week, but no one on my stream could hear his input because he did not set his privacy settings correctly. Welcome, James.
Welcome on in, and welcome on in, everybody. Yeah, you're going to have to start learning to, like, you know, introduce your co-commentators before everything else, Rob.
I do apologise. I'm still getting used to this commentary lark.
Yeah, I would be as well, mate. Right, so, who is the... That would be an Aston Martin. I'm guessing that is Lulu. Indeed.
Is it in the wall already?
Well, we don't know yet, but coming up to turn 1 on his timed lap. Does that ever so nicely. Does he spin out on turn 2? No, he does not. We'll hold it together for turn 3. He does indeed. Obviously, he's going to set purple sectors because he's the only one currently on a fast lap. It's turn 4 now. All the way around to turn 6 and 7. Fast right-hander on turn 8. In some traffic there from a Ferrari. Ran a little bit wide there on the exit of turn 11. This will be the benchmark. No, Hobo first out on track. The 120.6. That was interesting.
He snuck that one out.
Bobo's doing me, and Lewis does a 119.7, so that is the benchmark. Who else is with a
Rocket Man just come in, finished his lap on a 119.6.
His teammate Ireland Boy, aka Kyle Gill, with the next one to cross the line.
I think his Sector 2 split looks better than Rocket Man's.
Final corner, does he hold it together? Yes, he does. And he only manages a 128.3.
He must have had an issue in Sector 3 because he was a good half a second up on his Sector 2 time. So I'm hoping
Ferrari tactics. Leclerc, this is box. Zodak goes a 121.8. A lot of 120s being pushed here.
Scarito's invalidated. Fred's is retired in pits. Flea
coming up to the final corner. 124, 124.9. That puts him currently P6. So Rob, who do we think is going to be saying goodbye Q1?
I feel we will be losing Mrs. Carl.
But there is a shock to the system now, Rob. DXT Moyland is out on track.
Is he going to set a lap or is he going to...
He's currently on a fast lap.
Still got plenty of turns left, yet he can spin it in any one of these. He's on a very good
Moyland.
Sector 2 though. All that practice in CP1 Mondays learnt where not to...
Oh, nearly lost the rear end there. Now Moyland. Final corner now for Moyland in the Alpine, which is a very sexual car. A 118.3. So there is the benchmark, ladies and gentlemen. I personally think the cut-off, like the safer zone, is in mid to low 190. I think that's the safe.
Yeah, mid to low 119s, you say 120.6.
Everybody, with the track evolution on this game, everyone there can improve.
Yes. I think a 120.6 is going to be your 15th place mark.
So we have Scotty out on track. Yes, he is currently on a fast lap. Is he getting a tow? Will he be getting a tow off a Ferrari? Tough question.
Will Ferrari's light is flashing, indicating he's not got his ERS on. Stick the telemetry on, and he's not. He's
not using it. So this could be my tactic.
Banker lap. Or he's had an issue earlier in the lap and has decided to regen and go again. He's got fuel for another. He's got 3 laps of fuel.
The Aston Martin pairing of turns 1 and 2. This could hinder somebody's lap. Oh, we've got a spinner on turn 1. Speaking of that, that is a Aston Martin. And that is Lulu.
And he is now without a wing.
Oh dear, Lulu, what happened there?
Lawrence
trying to
be
give your
happy.
teammate. People at Aston Martin. So Johnny Stokes is on his timed lap now. The other Aston Martin that hasn't spun.
gas
to
is
the newly
cold.
shaped turn 11.
Just getting back on track. So Johnny will be catching her. He looks to have got it done.
Yeah, coming up to the final corner now for Johnny Stokes. This is looking a really good time. 118.5 puts him P2.
He did have a bit of traffic to get round during his lap.
Lister is in P3 with a 118.9. Lewis MW 4th with a 119.0. Decky, where's Decky pulling this pace from? 119.4. Rocketman a 1.819.6.
Decky's had a couple of. I'm fairly sure he was fairly well up last week.
Well, I'm currently on board now with Al Jadifa in the Haas, coming up to turn 4. He has some traffic in front of him. Let's just hope they all get out of the way safely.
It's good to see Al Jadifa back. I know he's.
Oh, we've got the other Haas of Hobo out. It doesn't invalidate that lap, so he keeps on going.
Hobo's retired in the pits by the looks of it. Or has he put it in the wall?
No, he put it in the wall. Yeah, he's going to Al Jadifa now is going to get a nice little slipstream here. No, he's not. I will eat my words.
As the Red Bull decides to not allow the slipstream and goes into the pits, he picks up a 11th place with a 120.8.
So if everybody now sets a lap, they all go through. Because now currently there is 4 drivers out. Frenzy I think has a quali ban, I'm not too sure.
No, Frenzy has done a Frenzy and retired in pit straight away. He doesn't like to qualify. It's his pace, he'll be up at the top end by the end of the race. If he qualified, he'd be top 5 and would then be.
He just wants that driver of the day for overtaking, that's what it is.
There's no bonus point for for driver of the day from the game. Maybe that's Moylan's new tactic in GP1.
Could be. Oh, I've just caught Island Boy there spinning it on the exit of turn 13. Careful. You have an Aston Martin approaching, but you're safe for now, Island Boy. Look at that, just catching things, just catching it. Everybody now is safe as soon as if they all don't bin it.
Now Ludifer is going for another lap.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no point damaging tyres. Everyone is through.
Bar Vader, he's not settled up yet.
I know, bye Craig.
Come on, Craig, get out on track.
Everybody, if you just retired, this will go a lot quicker. Just saying.
If you are sat in the pits twiddling your thumbs, tell us what the weather's going to do.
Yeah, we'd like a weather update, please. But you can all just retire and this all will go a little bit quicker.
So we wait for Al Ludifer to come through sector 2, he's 7/10 up.
Right, so I will be on board now with DXT Vader in the Alpine on his outlap. Craig, you could have gone on Inters, just saying.
Yeah, it's only TTFL that have brought that official rule in. So our Ludifer improves and jumps up into 10th and is then knocked straight back down to 11th. He has improved to a 120.1.
Right.
Let's follow.
People, are we not getting the message here? If you retire, bar Craig, this will go quicker. Because stage 4 people crashed out or retired already. I know it's a game of who can get the fastest time, but we'll save that for Qs 2 and 3. So, coming up to turn 1 now for Craig's fast lap. And he loses it on the exit of turn 1, just loses the rear.
As Womax is going to give us a full grid now. He had warned me maybe a little late.
Craig, you don't have to use ERS, pal. You can just get out and push. But now he's coming up to turns 4.
We're saying everyone's through because of those that have DNF'd. But if you look at when
retired.
Those that have DNF'd are actually sat, showing that Hobo's still technically through. He won't be able to partake in Q2, but he's sitting in 14th.
That is true. Scarito does technically need to improve, but he doesn't.
Because in 21, if you DNF, you just drop to the kick-out places regardless of your time.
That is indeed. Right, now Craig's going to go again. It looks, by the looks of things, coming up to turn 1. Does he do the repeat? No, he does not, which is better for Craig. Oh, we've got a yellow flag in sector 2, and that's just a slow car letting a fast car through.
Just Island Boy letting Matty through.
Scarito now has retired.
Mrs. Carl is saying we will be having a dry race.
Thank you, Mrs. Carl. At least somebody listens. Oh, he does not invalidate on that fast right-hander. Craig with a purple sector 2. This could be interesting.
Mrs. Carl, have you spoken to Moyland about the SF1000 yet? Just jog in your memory. The Thrustmaster Ferrari add-on wheel that's got the built-in screen.
Ah. So now Craig's coming up in a 120.029. That puts him 11th.
That's happily safe for Craig. And
Max is apparently on an outlap.
He's left that late. Where is he on his outlap?
Coming up to the final corner.
He's got time.
He's easily made it.
But what did I say?
By Williams, he's holding up by Williams. He's going to get the slipstream coming up to turn 1.
I said 15th would be a 120.6. Nobo's currently occupying 15th on a 120.6.
Now this is interesting. Flea is right in front of Womack, sorry, and they're both on a fly. Oh no! That is great avoiding there by Womack, but he's hindered his time. But apparently he's got a purple sector 1. Okay. Still go for it though, Womack.
It was hard to tell if he even lifted through that or he just went on instinct and went round Flea.
As Jeremy Clarkson would say, power. And it's coming up to the brand new shaped corner for this year. I do actually prefer that corner than last year's.
I do, but I've still not got a proper feel for it. I can't get the line consistent lap after lap.
So
it's Womack
Max coming up to a 125. Ooh, 124.9. So that is Q1 finished, and we shall wait for the final clarification of who we are saying goodbye to.
Oh, I better remember to do the screenshots.
Oh, it'll be on VODs anyway. So, Johnny Stokes finishes on the fastest lap with a 1:18.0. But we do say goodbye to Hobo, Zodiac, Scotty. Wow, Scotty. Scarito, Womax, and Frenzy.
So it is done this season on times.
Yes, but obviously Hobo has DNF'd, so it'll be the top 14 drivers. And Flea takes that spot.
It's unfortunate for Womax having had to make that avoidance, but again, that's the risk you take joining late. And only having that one run. I'm sure he won't be too put off by it, though.
I would be. But that is a double-edged sword if you leave it very late to come out. So who now in Q1 will be the first out on track?
In my comments on my YouTube chat, we have had Matt Hoyland saying Lulu to Bennett in Q2.
Great faith there by your man Moyland. So who is out first on track? It looks like it's a
Red
Haas.
As the Haas sneaks out in front. That'll be our Ludifer.
Ludifer comes out in first, followed by Flea.
Followed by Moyland. Then Island Boy.
And the other Williams.
This is Carl.
Lister. I'm not being funny though, but I think Al Jadifa and Flea are actually racing here instead of trying to qualify. So we'll go on board with Flea for his first time lap here in Q2. Got a big pile up coming up. Coming up to the final corner now for Flea, and he sets off, and away we go. On the run down to turn 1, in excess of 185 to 190 miles an hour. Braking hard at 75 metres. Turns 1, coming round for turn 2. Ease on the power for turn 3, keep it consistent.
Ludifer's out wide through turn 3.
But Flea is not using his ERS for this time lap. He's definitely been watching me. But I will stay on board with him, as you know, because he's the first one to set the time on the benchmark for Q2. We have another yellow flag in turn 1. A Mercedes looks like he's span it on the exit of turn 3.
That'll be DXT Matty. Mrs. Cole picked up the purple sector 1 there on her lap. So have a nice clear track in front of her. Everyone in front looks to be bunting up as Mrs. Carl comes through. Doesn't get purple sector 2.
She gets a nice little slipstream off there. So Moylan there with a 1:19.0. Island Boy 1:19.8. Lewis MW with a 1:18.6. They're all coming out to play.
Mrs. Carl
Sandbags
now
have fully turned off.
crosses the line on a 1:20.4 for Mrs. Carl.
Very good for Mrs. Carl. Currently on board now with Johnny Stokes in the Aston Martin.
It's a purple sector 2.
I don't like the final chicane in Spain. It's just
No,
the sausage curbs ruin it.
I much prefer they took it out and left it on the original track. It does a
Johnny
1:17.9.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is proven that Johnny has now took all sandbags off. So now we're on board with Craig's lap here. Can't drive in real life, no line to go. Well, Mitch, I'm only doing the comms, so I am technically not driving.
You're getting grief in your cat.
I am. Apparently I can't drive. But, oh well.
We know you can't turn left.
Yep. Can't turn left. That's why I struggle on tracks like Spain. Only thing I'm good for. Wow. Okay. Play the game, Mitch, and we'll see how good you are.
Take the compliment though. You're saying you're good at comms.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know what Craig is doing here, but
He's going for the MotoGP line.
thankful they don't do finance on an F1 car. You'd be surprised.
They do, it's just rather expensive. Aren't Lawrence Stroll?
Yeah. So, is Craig now going flat out? He is. He's going to get a nice little toe off this Ferrari.
Here's Becky on a lap.
Went up to turn 1, brakes at 55 metres, turns in really well for turns 2.
Decky in front is on a lap, so Craig's going to pick up the benefit of a toe.
It's going to hinder him through the dirty air.
I see Craig in the background there takes a different line through turn 4. We've got a McLaren round.
At the exit of turn 4.
Manages to get it out of the way of the Haas of Al Ludifer.
There's an Aston Martin and some Williams all fighting it out there on the exit of turn 4. Never done that, Mitch. Stop trying to show me up. Otherwise you will be timed out. So Craig now comes to the final corner, start finish straight, and he sets a 1:19.5.
Decky set a 1:19.4 just in front of him, so I think, like you say, that dirty air did
Hinder him just a little.
The dirty air is not as bad now as it was, but it does. You can definitely feel an effect when you're following a car through
Alright,
the
Mitch,
corners.
you
So I think the cut-off for Q3 is going to be a 1:19.2.
I'd say 1:19.3. Garburn, how's it going, dude? Welcome on in.
Literally gone a tenth under, so anything lower than a 119.3, and you're going to be, yep, I called that.
I call a lot of things, but you know. Al Jadid for now is in the final sector. He does set up purple sector 2, which is quite impressive. I love that camera angle.
Did you have the
Just in
nose
front
cam?
Yeah, front and nose. And Al Jadifa plots his car in 8th on a 119.5. So on board now with Matty coming up to the final corners. Power, get the power down. 119.1, which slots in nicely in 7th. Getting to be rather interesting here.
Mrs. Cole coming round to finish her current lap, throwing a purple sector 2.
Everyone seems to be getting purple sector 2s here. She doesn't invalidate it on the exit, which is really good.
Does a 119.3.
Mrs. Cole, where are you getting this pace from?
I'd say is
actually
it
impressive.
Mr. Cole driving, but
No, I think Moylan's doing it.
Moylan's fair play. So our top 5 as it stands.
Johnny Stokes has retired. He definitely thinks he's in Q3. There's no doubt. He's the only one so far to break a 117s.
Lewis
Aldifa's now in the pits.
Lister on 18.6 and 18.7. Moyland on an 18.7. Lulu on an 18.9. ABS probably tracked them. Hepburn on a 19.0. Matty on a 19.1. Mrs. Carl on a 19.3. Decky on a 19.4. Rocketman on a 19.4 and currently sitting in the danger zone in 10th. Al Jadifa in 11th on a 19.5. Vader on a 19.5. Flea on a 19.8. Carl Gill on a 19.8 as well.
He is now setting his second time lap now on the rundowns to turn 1. Go on board with him, but he's got a Red Bull
and he's invalidated.
Who is that Red Bull, and why would you try and drag race someone who's on the flying lap?
That was Lister.
Lister, come on, you're better than that. Expected better. So does Island Boy have enough fuel to go round again? This is the question.
He does. He's got 2.3 laps of fuel in the car. What state will his tyres be at the end of this lap? Currently they're on 3%. So
how are you finding this out?
SimHub.
Oh, I forgot you've got a different screen.
I've got my extra screen and...
Right, so... Island Boys, time lap now. We will be on board with him. Very late shifting to 8th gear there. Brakes hard at 75 metres, turns in, ease on the power, feel the bite, feel the traction, all the way into turn 3. Keep that turning rather smooth, because you actually lose speed in this year's game if you turn too aggressively, which makes no sense.
Lulu's retired in pits.
So the exit of turn 5 now. The Red Bull coming out of turn 7.
That's Lister
And again,
on his
Lister
outlap.
again.
Lister!
Lister, what you doing, man? Gotta be aware of these things, man.
That's twice for the same car. There's Carly did the previous lap as well. And Carl is abandoning that lap.
Yeah, he won't get out in time for another run. I think there's some conspiracy theories going off here.
Oh, I do. It's all very strange.
Lister has gone into the pits. I reckon there will be some quiet words being attended to there.
Who have we got on a lap?
We have Rocketman, Hepburn, Al-Jadifa, Matty, Decky, Craig and Flea all on time laps. So these do count.
As I think that was Vader round at the exit of the final chicane and has pulled into the pits.
So Matty is coming up to the final corner now.
Oh, Matty, need a 19.2 from you.
A 1:18.9 puts him safe into P7. Al-Jadifa is safe because everybody else is pitting.
And just to say, my 19.2, I was slightly off. It was a 19.15. Put you into
Getting rather
10th.
good at these guessing games. I don't like it. I don't like it. Do you have a full grid for this? Yes, we do. We are currently in full qualifying carbon, and this is currently Q2. So we will be saying goodbye for Q3 is Mrs. Carl, Craig, Flea and Island Boy, which I believe there will be some stern words coming from him.
If the stern words don't come directly from Island Boy, the stewards will be flagging the incidents of Q2 regarding blocking.
Who are we waiting for? We're waiting for Al-Jadifa and Rocketman to just finish the pits.
So, to confirm, your drivers going through to Q2 will be Johnny Stokes, Lewis MW, Lister, Decky, Rocketman, Moyland, Matty, Lulu, Hepburn and Al-Ludifer. Unfortunately, at the end of that session, we are losing Mrs. Carl, Vader, Flea and Carl Gill.
It's still Island Boy for me, I don't care.
It's still Island Boy, yeah. He messaged me in the week to say that
I've changed my PSN.
Yeah. Oh, Wumax has randomly messaged in the league sign-up chat, but has said he's loaded his Imola setup.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the top 10 shootout in Q3. Fastest time wins the grand prize of pole position on the race.
Gets them a point. So it is worth pushing to get pole position, as we have a Red Bull on the way down the pit lane.
I believe that was Lister. Yes, it is.
Followed by the AlphaTauri of Hepburn, and I believe
Followed by
Moyland.
the Alpine of Moyland. Then followed by the Aston Martin of Lulu.
And that's it at the moment. Only the four have headed out onto track, as the McLaren of Rocketman and the other Aston Martin.
How many beverages have you had tonight, Rom?
2. I'm being well behaved tonight.
That's too many, because if you think an Aston Martin's an AlphaTauri, there's something wrong. So we will be on board with Lister for his timed lap as soon as he gets to the final corner. So we will be on board with him. On the rundown now to turn 1 as he starts his flying lap here in the Catalunya. Brakes hard at the 60-metre mark, turns it in, keeps it nice and clean up to enters turn 3.
Runs it out wide.
Tries to keep minimum turning angle. Turns 4. Brakes hard at the 40-metre mark for turns 5.
Got the Mercedes of Matty just in front, who looks to have slowed off the racing line. Nicely done to allow those on their fast lap through.
Keeps his foot planted there in 6th gear. Very late shift there from Lister to 8th gear. Would hinder his time quite a little bit. Up to the final chicane, puts that nicely, hits the apex there, power early for the final corner. DRS wide open and sets a 118.0. Hepburn with a 119.0. Moyland with a 118.2.
Next will be Lulu on 121, but it invalidated his lap. Matty's coming across to start his lap.
Becky will be then on his lap. So the next one will be Rocketman coming up to the final corner. A 118.6, that puts him 3rd. Johnny Stokes coming up to the line now. A 117.8, that puts him provisional pole.
Smashes the competition there. 2.5 tenths up, quarter of a second as
Lewis MW with a 117.6. Now things are starting to heat up. Track evolution is working wonders.
Evening, Duckface.
Matty locks up his left front. That will hinder the time just a little.
We are running broadcast formation lap here as well, and I'm half expecting, or over half expecting, the fastest lap to be completely messed up.
So Matty puts in a 120.0, puts him 8th currently. Becky loses it on just before the final chicane. He should be going straight into the pits, which he does.
Bet the Aston behind him will be in the pits as well. Unless
Yes.
it's Lewis. No, Lewis is further round and has just had a spin through turn 3.
And Lewis NW cuts the final chicane to get into the pits. Not sure if that's allowed. Lulu now turns 4. Hours down early. Turn 5. Which technically shouldn't be a turn. Turn 6. He went to the fast turn 7. Doesn't. He lifts off. Chicken. Who's that weaving in and out? He's got to be aware. He's hindered Lulu's time there. The Haas of Al Jadifa. Al Jadifa, what are we playing at? Get out of the way! And Lewis spins it on the exit of the final chicane. So we are on board now with Al Jadifa on the run down to turns 1. Quite a weird line, but he makes it happen.
I've just had a message from Lister regarding the Island Boy incident. Lister was trying to give Island Boy the toe, but they both screwed up 2 times in a row.
Didn't look like that to me.
That's what I've said. I'll say if Island Boy confirms that's the case, then
No further action.
no
But to be
further
fair,
action.
Lister, you are in a Red Bull, he's in a McLaren. If you're on the same team, I'd understand, but since you're on opposite teams...
Just following Al Jadifa now through sector 3.
Locks up his front right.
The final chicane. It's a good exit.
Powers early. Gets that corner. Look at this. DRS wide open. 119.3, which puts him 8th.
Have to be careful with spectator view and lockups. They don't always. Yeah.
I was actually on board with him, so I saw the lockup.
Island Boys confirmed he was trying to get a toe off Lister and neither of them could get it to work.
Fair enough, but we are on board now with Moyland. Coming up to the final chicane. I haven't seen his split times. Final corner, Powers out. DRS wide open, 117.3.
Someone means business tonight.
Someone is definitely had his Weetabix today.
There've been multiple occasions now where you said exactly what I was thinking I was about to say. It's getting quite scary.
So Decky now is on his first time lap, going up to the final chicane. Powers out of that very nicely. And he does a 118.9 and that's put him 8th.
It's time for another drink, but I'm not going to go for a beer, I'm going to go for a Red Bull.
Completely different scales of the thingy, but okay. So Johnny Stokes now coming up to turn 11.
I'm thinking this is going to be rather an intense race.
It's not showing me his split times on his steering wheel. Powers out of it. And that is a 117.5. He improves by 2/10. Things are really heating up. Currently on board now with Lewis MW.
Currently half a hundredth over his split time.
Oh, he's bailed out of the lap now. But you do have a Haas up your
The Haas
gearbox.
isn't on a lap. The Haas just allowed him through and has no front wing.
Oh.
So I think Lewis failed.
So Matty's up by 7 thousandths. He needs to really get out of this. Find that extra little bit of oomph. And a 1:16, 18.6, he improves by 1.3 seconds, and that puts him P6.
It's a hell of an improvement as we've got.
We have a yellow flag, and I believe that is Al Jadifa on the pit entry.
It's got it into the pits as Lulu is coming through turn 4 now. Trying to improve on his current 8th place with a 1:18.7. Coming up into turn 9. Keeps that flat in 6.
He lifted off. He lifted off.
In 6? He lifted in 6. You lift if you're in 7th.
Especially when you've got no traction, but he's clearly got traction.
Maybe that's why it lifted then. It wasn't him, it was the game. And I completely missed his sector 2 time there.
He's coming up to the final corner.
This is going to be a 19.
1:18.7. He doesn't improve. So 3 times now is the battle for. Oh, Lister loses the rear end but catches it.
Johnny Stokes is 1.3 up through 1.3 down through sector 2. So
I think he's bailing on this lap.
Yeah, his ERS is reclining. Lewis has invalidated. Lister's invalidated, so no one will improve.
That is your starting 10 places, with Moyland on pole with a 1:17.3, Johnny Stokes second, Lewis MW third, Lister and Hepburn on the 3rd row, Matty and Rocketman on the 4th row. No, balls that up. So Rocketman's in 7th, Lulu is in 8th, Decky and Al Jadifa are on the 5th row. There we go.
I think, if memory serves me right, which probably doesn't because I'm old, that's Rocketman's best qualifying performance.
I cannot confirm. There is just a confirmation. Moyland in 1st, Johnny 2nd, Lewis MW in 3rd, Lister 4th, Hepburn 5th, Matty in 6th, Rocketman 7th, Lulu in 8th, Decky 9th, and Al Jadifa in 10th.
And Rocketman has confirmed in the chat that is his best qualifying performance in the league. So well done to Rocketman. He had some good pace in there tonight.
Indeed he has. Very well done there, Rocketman. So this is the broadcast
formation lap. So you'll see turn 1 and 2, and then it'll cut to reforming the grid. The drivers don't get any input now.
Sit back, relax.
And we can even sit back and relax for a minute, because Crofty does the first part of the formation lap for us. I think it's probably the only part of commentary they've got recorded of Crofty for multiplayer.
Well, I'm going to make myself a little drink then while Crofty takes over. Thanks, Crofty.
we go then. The formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? We'll soon find out.
So whilst the formation lap takes place, I would run you through the tyres, but it's disappeared off my screen. But Moylan's elected to start on hards. Johnny Stokes is on the mediums.
Failing that, within the points.
Lewis MW is on the mediums, and I believe I saw that Lister is starting on the hards. But as the cars are now reforming on the grid,
Right, I'm back. Cheers, Crofty.
we get to see for about 3 seconds what the tyres are as well, without having to select it.
Well,
So
the Ferrari's on softs.
Moylan is on the hards. Stokes and Lewis are on.
Okay, here we go. Lights. 5 lights. And away we go here and around Spain. Moylan gets a beautiful start. Johnny Stokes gets
had
caught
a
up.
poor start.
We'll go right at the back of the grid.
Lewis MW's jumped right up the grid. Moylan's dropped down to 5th. And we've got a McLaren, an AlphaTauri, and a Haas round.
And
And
another
the Haas is
AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri's not having a good. Al Jadifa is out. Hepburn is limping round.
I believe that is safety
Rocketman's
cars
spinning.
out.
Rocketman is spinning left, right in Chelsea. Unbelievable start here.
How Ludifer's given up so much, he's invited me to play a different game. Rocketman, take it steady, nice and
Cool your
slow,
tyres.
let your tyres cool down. They overheat like mad the minute you have a spin. You're going to be a good half a lap before they're back down to normal temp. Take it steady into the corners, don't accelerate drastically on the exits, just slowly catch the pack up.
So we'll go on the position changes since we have a lap 1 safety car. Lewis MW is up 2, Lister is up 2, Moyland is down 2, Lulu is up 4. Jesus, where did that come from? Johnny Stokes is down 3, Decky's up 3, Matty's down 1, Zodak is up 8, great start from him. Mrs. Carl is up 2, Island Boy is up 4, Rumax is up 8, another good start from him. Craig is position no change. Scarito is up 5, Flea's down 1, Scotty is up 2, Bobo is down 1, Frenzy is up 3, Hepburn is down 13, and Rocketman is down 12. Whew.
Rocketman looks to be round again on the final corner.
If this is anything to go by, this will be a very long 33 laps.
I'm trying to find out from our leader for what happened in turn 1. Lewis MW had an absolutely blistering start. Johnny looked it appeared from my screen that he just forgot to launch.
Yeah, Johnny Stokes was very late on the reactions, which really hindered him. So we'll just wait for everyone to bunch back up, and the safety car should be in next lap. We've already had 2 laps of the safety car.
And it seems to me the tracks where we see the safety car more, it's the tracks where it's the Aston Martin. I can't remember seeing the Mercedes safety car out on track yet.
Doesn't really matter. Safety car's a safety car.
The reason I'm bringing it up is for the tracks where you'd never see it, like Monaco. But I know it's the Merc at Monaco.
Yeah, so we've got Craig and Frenzy in the pits. them to catch up.
Both fitted the hard tyre.
I believe they will have to pit again because I don't think they'll last 30 laps.
They'll be on the back of the pack in, oh, well within this lap.
So by right, safety car should be in this lap.
Would expect to see it called as it comes through into sector 3. Nothing on our screen. There we go.
Yeah, safety car is in this lap. So effectively, Lewis MW is now the safety car.
This may hurt Moyland being on the hard tyre.
Lister is also on the hard tyre, but we'll stay on board with Lister to watch Lewis's launch. And he's gone. He's caught Lister out. He's caught Lister out a little bit.
Has he caught Lister, or are they playing team tactics?
Either way, Moyland was not fazed by that. Neither was Lulu, Johnny Stokes, really on the inside of his teammate. Everyone, Zodak is on the inside now of Matty coming up to turns 4.
I think Zodak lost out there to the...
Hepburn span it, Hepburn has spun. Zodak is right on the back of Matty here. Can he get the traction that he needs?
Matty on the medium should have the better traction out of the turns.
Johnny Stokes is right on the back of Lulu now. Lulu's going to play the team game and let Johnny through. Johnny on the outside. Does that perfectly there. Becky is on the back of Lulu.
And you've got Matty on the back of Decky as well.
We've got Scotty on the back of Flea, which is then Bobo's on the back of Scotty. And then Rocket. Oh! Becky has spun it. Becky has spun it on the final corner. That's very unlucky. We've got Wilmax the outside of Mrs. Call just before turns 1. Cario changes places with Flea and Hobo changes places with Rocketman. Frenzy takes Rocketman on the outside. Does he make it stick? He does. Good move there by Frenzy. We have Bobo making a move on Scarito on the inside of turn 4. That's a brilliant move. Defends it really well as well for turn 5.
Scarito. No, there's no DRS at the minute, is there? So Scarito won't get the run down.
While Lewis MW has made a gap of 2.6 seconds away from Lister. Unless Lister is playing the Perez game here and holding everybody else up.
Lewis is on the medium tyre, so we'll have slight speed advantage. Moyland's
right on the back of Lister here. Thinks twice, run on the inside. Johnny is right behind them both. Lewis there. Lulu's just picking up the scraps, if there is any. Moyland on the inside here, coming up to turn 4. Early on the brakes, gives each other room. Powers out of turn 4. Now's on the outside of turn 5. Lister trying to hold on as much as he can, but defends it brilliantly. Parks the car where he needed it. Flea and Scotty have changed positions. Just current now, Moyland has the DRS advantage.
Got Hobo right on the back of Flea as well. Looking up the inside.
He's left him space and Flea's gone wide.
Gonna leave Flea.
This battle for second though is really tightening up. There's a 3.8 second gap between Lewis, MW and Lister. But this lap I
Moyland's
don't
got the
think
drive on this one.
so is Johnny. Lister might be losing 2 places here.
Late on the brakes. Keeps it. Oh, just enough space left there.
Brilliant driving from these. Back we have Scarito and Frenzy with Lee and Hobo, so this is a battle for 11th. As Craig on the inside of Scarito coming up to turn 4. Scarito just nudges wide. He gives Vader that space. So this now becomes a DRS train all the way up to 7th place.
Johnny Stokes is going to want to get this move made on Lister so he can take advantage of the pace advantage on the medium tyre.
He will also have DRS from Moylan. Who gets a better traction out of that corner. Johnny looks like he's got it.
All the while Lulu in the background is just following in the DRS of the guys in front.
Johnny doesn't look like he has the straight line speed as Lister does. But we have Scotty on the back of Zodak, who is on the back of Womax. So this is a battle for 7th, and there's contact between Zodak and Scotty. Zodak relinquishes that 8th place to Scotty. Good driving. Island Boy is on the back of screen. We have yellow flags, and that is Flea spinning on the entrance of turn 3. Island Boy now is on the back of Scarito.
Johnny Stoke looks to be going up the inside of Lister into turn 10. Lister's round.
Oh no, Lister, what are we playing at?
Careful on your recoil.
He's lost a lot of places. He's on the defensive now to Hobo. Gets him on the inside. All these little bit of contact. That is brilliant driving from Hobo and Lister.
Lister's now under attack from Zodak, and is going to be under attack from Mrs. Carl as well.
Mrs. Carl, we're on board now, waiting for this fight. He eases off, tries to get the better traction out of it.
Lister manages to get back past Zodak.
Zodak ran wide on the exit of turn 2, which forces him wide on the exit of turn 3. Gives Mrs. Carl some nice little advantages. Oh, he's run wide again. Is she gonna make it? Goes round. She does the old switcheroo. Gets the better traction.
Zodak went wide there as well on the exit.
Mrs. Carl gets that 10th place. Brilliant driving from her.
Zodak looks to be about to lose it to Frenzy.
Oh, and Zodak there. I believe it's with Vader. A little bit argy-bargy going off here. Zodak and Carl Zodak and Craig, sorry. Craig gets on the outside.
Johnny Stokes has managed to get within the DRS range of Moylan now. He had dropped back to 1.3 and now got it down to 0.8.
Craig is now in the pits, probably for wing damage. Shall have a look.
Moyland is starting to eat into the advantage of Lewis MW out in front. He's got that down to a 2.8 gap now.
No, it's just a fresh set of tyres for Craig. No more wing. Johnny.
DXT Lulu's dropping off the back of his teammate now. He's 2.3 seconds behind, so he's well out of the DRS. As Johnny Stokes is round.
Johnny Stokes
on the exit of turn 9. So Lulu's now up into third.
He's lost the race. He's currently 6th. He will be under attack from Lumax. As we have Kyle on the attack there from Zodak on the outside of turn 11. Brilliant move there. Gets them tyres working brilliantly.
Zodak looks like he's going to be under attack from Scorito anytime soon.
I believe there's some wing. Oh, Zodak's round. And Johnny Stokes is in the pits. This for a new wing or a new set of tyres.
Be guessing he'll be getting rid of the mediums. No new wing, just set of hard
tyres. Boom. Let's get out of there, people. So Hobo is on the inside of Wumax here. We're on the run down to turn 4. Very late on the brakes. Outstanding move there. He gets the better traction. That is outstanding there from Hobo.
I believe they're both on the same age tyre.
Becky and Johnny Stokes now. Becky is on the mediums while Johnny's on fresh hard, so he's on the switchback on the inside. Johnny is well aware of it. Johnny says no. This is the closest battle we have so far, so we'll stay on board with Decky, who will get the DRS advantage.
Here we go
on the inside. Johnny's not really fighting this, or is he? He's trying to go for the switchback. Decky got the power down early. That's a good move there for 13th place.
Scotty is on the back of Matty into turn 1. Matty's light is flashing away.
While Scotty's on 46%.
Matty's down to 5%. Scotty's got the drive. Can he make it move?
Yes, he can. Yeah. Outstanding from Scotty. We have a yellow flag, and I believe
that looks like Vader. No, Vader's in the pits.
Look like Mrs. Carl who span there. Rocket Man span it as well. Oh, he's in 14.
All these blue.
Craig is in the pits again. Craig, what is happening? Johnny Stokes is on the back of Decky. This is the closest battle so far on track. Johnny Stokes has got 70% more ERS to play with.
10 lap newer tyres. Decky's mediums will be starting to feel uncomfortable now.
He doesn't want to get held up too much by Decky as Scotty is in the pits. That should bring him out around Johnny. He's got fresh hards on. Johnny and Decky come onto the start finish straight.
Will be just behind Mrs. Carl.
Johnny is on the outside, but Eki, sorry, has defended it. But he's not got the inside line for turn 2, but he's got the inside line for turn 3. He's got an excellent drive out there. Where's he got that from? Frenzy, Lister and Womax now battling for 6.
Moylan's just skirting on the edge of DRS on Lewis. Lulu's
DRS, flirting. So this now, ladies and gentlemen, is a battle for 6th place between Womax, Lister and Frenzy. Currently on board with the Mercedes driver of Frenzy. To get a good drive out of the final corner. Frenzy and Lister will have DRS assisted. It looks to me like they're not catching Womax. Womax is not using any ERS there. So
Womax did say he's got his Imola setup on. So it looks like that works nicely down the straight to give him the straight line advantage, but I think it's slower through the corners.
Comes out of the pits. Scotty takes that outside line and inside line for turn 2.
Moylan now right on the back of Lewis. See Lewis on 13 lap old medium.
Becky span it on the exit of turn 2. While Johnny Stokes on the inside of Matty there. That is a brilliant move coming out into turn 4. So Moylan now right on the back of Lewis. Lewis has 0 ERS to play with. Same with Moylan, but Moylan gets it done before turn 1. So now Moylan inherits the lead of this Grand Prix.
He now needs to push to increase that lead, take advantage of having the harder tyre compound.
Here we go with Womax, Lister and Frenzy. And Womax again not using ERS. Lister just can't get there. That setup of Womax's seems to be working.
I may have to try my Imola setup the next time I race around Spain.
No, it's not in this Grand, not in this season.
As Moyland has broken out of the DRS range of Lewis MW.
But them mediums now are starting to wear off as the hards are coming into play. We have
that is gaining on Womax through the twisty sections of the track, but can't make any headway even with DRS
Mrs.
down
Carl
the straight.
has Scotty, sorry, has probably done the move of the season so far on Mrs. Carl. Johnny Stokes is there pouncing on Mrs. Carl. Not in that particular way either. So now Mrs. Carl drops down to 10th while Scotty is in 9th. So Lewis, MW and Lulu are in the pits.
Gives Hobo second on track currently, but he has got Lewis MW right behind him on a fresh set of hards.
And Lulu is in 8th, just behind Island Boy, but be careful Lou for them cold tyres. Scotty is on the back of Johnny. Did seem to get a good exit of turn 2.
Rocketman and Hepburn are into the pits from 15th and 16th.
The battle for 4th now between Womax, Lister and Frenzy is still ongoing. Lister and Frenzy just don't seem to have an answer for Womax's sheer straight line speed.
Womax isn't even hammering his ERS, he's still got a healthy amount left.
While Lister is there fighting that ERS. Frenzy's also got a healthy amount of VRS as well. Now, this is definitely on the defensive now of Frenzy. Who's going to be the late breakers as Listers tries to squeeze in? Frenzy there, just backing out of it. Wise decision. Oh, Lulu has hit the wall on pit lane wall.
Oh, he's lost his end plate. That's going to affect his turning.
Mrs. Carl is in the pits. She getting fresh rubber on. Of course she is.
He
What
needs
tyre
to
is it?
choreograph this
Hard
move.
tyres. Hard tyres are now on from Mrs. Carl.
Let's Johnny Stokes through into turn 4. Beautifully done. Doesn't slow him down, doesn't lose too much time himself, but he has got Scotty right on the back of Lulu now. I think Lulu's going to be a sitting duck on the second DRS straight here. So they come into turn 9. Lulu looks to be suffering with a bit of understeer, having lost that end plate. But somehow manages to keep in front of Scotty. And then runs wide into the reprofiled turn 10, which allows Scotty through.
While that's been going on, Frenzy's on the outside of the start-finish straight of Lister. He takes 5th position with the help of DRS and ERS. Lister a bit too late on the brakes, compromises his exit speed, going into turn 3.
So can Frenzy, now he's in front, make a move and get something past Womax.
As Lulu's in the pits, as well as Island Boys coming out of the pits in P11.
Lulu's opted to go on softs. They won't get to the end, Lulu. You're going to be coming back in for another set of tyres.
Within 6 or 7 laps as well, so you've got to be pitting at least twice. But Frenzy now is on the back of Womax for 4th place.
Lister's hanging on in there
battle
with
between these 3.
Moyland looks to have a pit stop advantage over Hobo in 2nd, and Lewis MW hasn't, even with his new hard tyres, hasn't been able to get a move done on Hobo.
We have a spinner out of turn 5 and 6. No, I'm going to say Frenzy, there's no overtaking the yellows.
Safety car.
Safety car is deployed.
That was Zodak.
So this now is probably the perfect time for Moyland. It's in. So he has that pit stop advantage, so he will come back out in 1st place.
Could ease.
Drive-through penalty for Lulu for speeding under safety. Oh dear, oh dear.
Moyland could be easily able to nurse 15 laps out of the mediums. A couple of laps behind the safety car. Look at Scotty's on 12 lap old mediums and still look to have decent pace. And Moyland is, as you called it, into the pits.
I should be Moyland's race strategist.
Get your CV into Ferrari, they need some.
I'll do a better job.
You are passing for the lead, there is 1 lap left, box. So Hobo...
Hards are the worst compound tyre, so we'll box for hards.
And then we'll box again for another set, just to make sure. We are on plan C. Plan C. It is plan C, everyone go past us.
Plan C is just pit every 3 laps.
So Hobo pitted from 2nd and has returned to track in 3rd.
And he's also on the fresher tyres. what tyres. He's on the mediums as well, so that is a advantage Hobo. Moyland is also on the mediums.
Lewis is gonna struggle possibly on the restart on the hards unless he can get some temperature into those tyres.
We'll have the detail for stops. Moyland with the 1 stop, Lewis with the 1 stop, Hobo with 2 stops, Rumax with 1, Frenzy with 3 stops in his 5th, that is really impressive. Matty on 1 stop, Lister on 1 stop, Johnny Stokes on 2 stops. Island Boy all the way down to Flea in 12th, he's done 1 stop. Scotty, Lulu and Craig have done 3 stops, Rocketman on 1 stop, Hepburn on 3, Scarito is on 2. The tyre compounds are as shown. So realistically, Lewis is on brand new hards.
Everyone around him's on brand new mediums.
So
Lewis will have the advantage towards the end of the stint, or the last couple of laps, because I think the mediums start dropping off around
11 laps.
11,
12 laps.
But if Moyland can pull the gap enough, I think Moyland will be safe out in front. Hobo's got Rumax and Frenzy. We've
Johnny
seen
Stokes is in the pit.
We've seen Rumax's
just comes out in front of Flea.
Rumax's straight line speed is
phenomenal.
It's just unreal. He's
going to
put
that's an Imola setup. Because Imola doesn't have that much straight line.
I think Rumax is going to put Hobo under pressure, which I think in turn is going to allow Lewis a bit of breathing space. I'd expect to see the front two open the gap out, and then Rumax, Frenzy.
But he's showing some good race pace though, so I think he'll stick to the back of Lewis, if not overtake him.
Hepburn saying his setup's completely wrong on my cat. The setup round Spain. Zodak even, not. I called him Hepburn because the name that comes up is Ryan Hepburn. Are you related to Hepburn 21 Zodak? Wait the 30-second delay for YouTube to actually broadcast the question.
It's only 6 seconds for me, so it's alright. Flees into the pits, he drops down into 18th place. We might be going on a set of softs, but they will last, but they won't get full grip throughout the 10 laps. We'll get 4 or 5 good laps out of them, and then they start fading fast around here.
So you've got Decky and Scotty up in 10th and 12th respectively on the softs as well.
Well, I'm thinking that the safety car will be in this lap.
Could have the call as they go through turn 10.
That is correct though, the safety car is in this lap, so now Moyland is effectively the safety car.
We now abuse SimHub to look at people's tyre temps. All
I need
looking
that
pretty
software.
cool.
Where'd you get that software from?
It's a free download. If you search for SimHub and then install that, and then you need to go on race department, and I'll send you the link to the actual dashboard software.
Currently on board with Lewis, just waiting for Moylan's launch, and he's gone. Catches Lewis out. Hobo has not been caught out there. Woomax has got Hobo.
Straight line speed advantage.
Hobo 3 seconds penalty for corner cutting. Don't know how that works.
As Woomax is all over the back of Lewis here. Up the inside into turn 4. Holds the line beautifully to get that done.
Island boys fighting for Mrs. Carl. We'll see that battle. Mrs. Carl is an excellent launch out of turn 4. Leaves the door a little bit open on turn 5. Traction there.
Moylan has just disappeared out in front. Is up to a 1.8 second advantage over Woomax.
We have 10 laps remaining here, ladies and gentlemen, in RPR's GP2 around Spain.
Woomax looks to be
contact there
defending
from
well.
Hepburn and Craig. Island boy there in front of Craig.
Oh, Mercedes going very
drive.
wide. It was Frenzy going very wide out of the final corner.
Island boy is just being very slow out of the final corner and just allows Craig and Flea to go right on past.
Lister and Hobo fighting into turn 1. Hobo's still in front, but now Lister's under attack from Decky on those soft tyres.
Decky, be brave. You have the grip. All his little contact there.
Going for the... Oh, I thought he was going for the cut back to the inside of 5.
Moylan there, as you said, has just left everyone. He's currently got a 2.8 second gap.
Lewis is keeping it just within the DRX of...
And Decky on the inside of turn 9, around with Lister. Who's going to be brave on the brakes?
Decky's got the grip, but runs it out wide. Looking to go back up the inside.
Got it. Lister is on the late on the brakes. This is exhilarating stuff. DRS now is enabled. Lister's gone into the pits.
I won't be able to take advantage of that until the back DRS straight between 9 and 10. New wing for Lister.
Oh, that might have been why he's been a little bit slow. Bobo is currently in 4th, just on the back of Lewis MW. You have yellow flags. There's a spinner, and that is Flea on the exit of turn 3.
Woomax is now some 4.5 seconds off the back of Moylan. Lewis is now starting to close that gap down.
That turns on the back of Mrs. Carl. This is a battle for 9th.
As soon as they... Sorry, carry on.
We have Frenzy on the back of Matty and Johnny Stokes, who's picking up the scraps between Johnny and Matty. Will Matty let Frenzy go, because Frenzy seems to be having the pace advantage.
Lewis is right on the back of Woomax out of the final corner, gets the DRS open, and it was 0.35 seconds. But Woomax is extending that gap down the straight, even with DRS on Lewis.
So Matty pulls to the side to let Frenzy through, which is brilliant team orders. The Hobo is just slightly dropping back off the pace.
I think Lewis needs to be within a tenth of Womack as they get on the DRS straights to be able to have any hope of getting a move
we have
done.
another spinner, and I believe that is Flea again on the exit of turn 3. Oh, Flea tries to defend from Lulu, but Lulu just rear ends him. I did catch that, ladies and gentlemen. That was, and now I believe Lulu has no front wing, or he's got no left end plate. So that will be him in the pits again. We have Hepburn on the inside of Mrs. Carl. Island Boys on the outside. This is some good racing here. Flea surviving a 5-second penalty for hitting Sicario. That was not a defensive move, that was ridiculous. Well, we will let the stewards decide. We have a 1, 2, 4-way battle now for 9th place.
Lewis is dropping back slightly on the back of Womack, and Hobo's getting right up in there.
Becky's span it on the exit of turn 4. Careful guys, careful. So now he's dropped all the way back to 13th. This battle for 10th. This is Carl, Island Boy, Craig, Rocketman, all involved. As Lewis drops another place into 14th.
Oh, I think Flea will be into the pits. I have a feeling at the end of this he is in the pits. I get a feeling that's going to be a retirement in the pits, and it is.
So that's Flea retiring. This battle for 10th so far is getting really hot. But there is also a battle for 3rd place between Lewis and Hobo. You're currently on board with Hobo. We will keep an eye on that battle for 10th.
Lewis and Hobo fairly even on ERS. Womack's out in front and opening that gap again. Has more ERS than the pair of them. I need to ask Womack for his Imola setup.
Has retired in the pit lane. It's another retiree. We are now down to 16 drivers with only 5 laps remaining.
All this battle in between Womack, Lewis and Hobo.
Craig on the back of Mrs. Carl.
Has allowed Connie Stokes to close up on the back of all of them. He's now in the DRS train as well. Moyland out in front with
Craig
10
on the
second
outside
advantage.
of Mrs. Moyland. Mrs. Moyland a bit brave on the brakes. Craig tried to go for the switchback, but Mrs. Carl was like, "You are not having that on me." Find another way around for this final points position.
Lewis still can't find a way past Womack down the start-finish straight. It's a lap, and Lewis is round.
Lewis lost the rear end. The rear end just gave up on him.
Allowed Hobo through into 3rd. Johnny Stokes now into 4th and right on the back of this battle as well.
Lewis drops down to 8th.
Has he picked up any damage in that?
I don't know what's happened to Craig, but he seems to have dropped back from Mrs. Carl.
He is on 24 lap old hards. I think they're going to be past their best now. Just as Mrs. Coles are coming.
And he's catching Craig up at a rate of knots. We're going to be on board with this battle for 2nd place as Johnny tries to sneak it on the inside. He tries it again. Backs out of
Hobo's got
adjust.
that covered.
Now this is where Womack gets the straight line speed. And as you can see, now Womack is deploying ERS and he's like, you are not getting past me.
He can see that podium place and he does not want to give it up, and he's done a beautiful
Hobo runs
drive.
wide. Nearly lost it there, but he retains third place. This is the closest battle we do have on track, ladies and gentlemen. It's a battle for second place with 3 laps remaining.
Johnny Stokes is just biding his time.
Scarito with a 3-second penalty. Oh, Hobo's ran all the way wide, which allows Johnny to come up on the outside. But he's very late on the brakes. Oh, Hobo, what a move. Can you make this stick? Yes, you can. Someone's took his brave pill this morning.
If he's driving like this now, he's been driving for 10 hours today back from Cornwall. Do you think he was driving like this all the way back from Cornwall, getting the practice in?
I would be. But I do have flappy paddles on my car, so it's alright. So Hobo with the DRS, ERS and slipstream, and Womack is just pulling away.
I'm going to go on board with Womack next time he comes down that start-finish straight to see what is.
We've got a spinner, and it's a Ferrari. That'll
be Decky round.
And it's Decky. And Craig has caught back up to Carl for 10th. He's currently 6 tenths behind. Oh, Hobo on the inside of Womack on turn 5. That is a brilliant move. I think I might have to retract my statement there, Rob. That is the overtake of the season so far.
But Womack will now have the DRS, and with his pace advantage in a straight line, that should make him easily able to defend from Johnny behind.
While all this is happening, Moyland is just laughing all the way down to the finish line. With only 2 laps remaining, this is some end-to-end fighting here.
Come on, Hobo, you need to pull a gap. You've got a penalty against you. Oh, that's going to be gutting if they stay this close. He's going to end up missing out on the podium.
So now we'll be on board with Womack. He's currently hitting 200 miles an hour.
204.
He's rapidly catching Hobo.
204 down the start-finish straight. I think in GP1 Monday, my speed
Lewis
was
MW on the inside of Hepburn on the end before turn 1 makes that move. Done and dusted. He moves up to 7th. While Craig here is right on the back of Mrs. Carl. This is a battle for the final point.
Johnny Stokes has got past Womack to get that final podium place.
Craig is trying to do a switchback, but Mrs. Moyland is very aware from it. This is some good defending from her. We all know she does like to be aggressive on the defending.
But everything we've seen so far has been clean defending. There's been nothing I've noticed that would scream it needs looking at.
No, we've got a spinner or a retiree. I believe that is Decky retiring from the pits. Now Johnny Stokes is on the back of Hobo, and this is the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny overtakes Hobo for 2nd place.
Hobo didn't have the DRS to defend there. This is what was keeping him in front while they were behind Womack.
Come on, Craig. Final attempt. We've got to do this now, Craig. Mrs. Carl and Craig are both very low on the RS, but Craig is on the outside for turn 1. Mrs. Carl very, very late on the brakes, but keeps it sticking. Is Craig trying to do the old switchback on turn 3? He's still lingering on the outside. Can he get that? Oh, Mrs. Cole nearly lost it, but Craig had to take avoiding action. He gets a drive. Does he get the acceleration now? This is the battle. This is the battle so far for. But as we're saying that, Moylan wins the Grand Prix. Brilliant there.
Connie Stokes has opened the gap up to Hobo to some 2 seconds, and Connie's going to come across the line.
Mrs. Cole very late on the brakes, forces her wide. That is a good move from Craig.
Hobo takes third on track, but due to his penalties gets dropped down to fourth.
That is very unlucky there.
Frenzy picks up fifth. Lewis MW picks up seventh. Matty in Lewis MW in sixth. Matty in seventh. Hepburn in eighth. Island Boy takes ninth. Craig picks up 10th.
10th on track.
10th on track.
Mrs. Carl takes the point.
Lister picks up 11th. Craig ends up 12th with the penalties. Rocketman will come across to finish in 13th. And Scarito, who's been lapped, in 14th.
Well, what a race. What a race. Battles everywhere, clean driving, some drama. Oh, there's going to be some very, very questionable calls here for the stewards.
As standard practice, Frenzy picks up the game's driver of the day, but who was your driver of the day there?
Mine would have to be Hobo. He drove brilliantly, but it was just a shame that the penalties dropped him down off that podium place. He deserved the podium, but we all know penalties are ruthless. But Hobo does take my driver of the day.
I was torn between Hobo and Woomax. Woomax started in 19th and ended up on the podium with apparently really an Imola setup. And he was just untouchable on those
I'm not having that as an Imola setup.
Was that a 0-0 wings exploit? He had the pace for it.
The DNFs for today is Al Jadifa, Zodak, Scotty, Flea and Lulu, and I believe Decky on the very last lap retired.
Yeah, so he'll be qualified because he did over the 90%, or classified rather.
Moylan takes the whole race victory tonight here in GP2. The fastest lap point goes to Lewis MW, apparently with a 31.5 second lap time.
Yeah, I get a feeling that's one of the latest bugs, and I'm going to have to say we've got no way of knowing who had the true fastest lap. So I don't think there will be a fastest lap point this week until this issue with the formation lap is resolved, but we will discuss it on the staff chat and try and figure out how we move forward on it.
Yeah, indeed. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude Rapid Pixel Racing's GP2 race here at Spain. Make sure you tune in on Sunday for my coverage of GP3, which is also, funnily enough, around Spain.
Yeah, we like to keep it all nice and straightforward.
And then on Monday, I will be participating in GP1 at 8:30 PM UK time, and that track, I believe, is Imola. So I believe Wilmax will be using his Spain setup. But anyway, I've been your co-commentator with Rob Sim Racer. Make sure you go check him out on his YouTube channel, DXT Rob Sim Racer. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I am Taito Nation. I shall see you in the next one. Peace out.
Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed it. A couple of comments to respond to on my stream. Rocketman, gutted for you. Your first lap, not sure what happened. We just saw you on the track map and saw you having a nightmare getting the car going, and those tyres cooled down. But well done and fair play for sticking with it. Zodak, gutted when you spun. Setups on this game and Spain are they feel good in quali, and I never found a comfortable setup for when I race Spain on Monday. But we will speak to you all and hear you. I can't even speak now. I'm losing track of what I was trying to say. We will see you all next week. Don't forget to check out Taito Nathan on Twitch for GP3 on Sunday. And we will see you all next week.